So let's just use the example that you're seeing there, the question. Now take note that this simulation question requires two tables. They can even switch the question to another one. You likely will not use this one, but it requires two tables. It talks about mopeds, right? We'll put this in a realistic setting now. The first table is the random number table, and the production per day and the probabilities are what was already given to us in the question. If we go back to the question, you'll see that those things are already there. They just put it there. Now, cumulative from a statistics and every other thing means, the first one will retain its position, but you're adding the rest. And since it's from probability, cumulative probability means that's what we're touching. Remember, the first probability there is 0.05, so it retains its position. The next one is 0.09. So if you add that to 0.05, it becomes the next one, which is 0.14. That's why you're seeing it like that there. If you add the next one, which is 0.12 to that 0.14, it becomes 0.26. If you add 0.14 to 0.26, it becomes 0.40. So you just keep adding till you get that part where it's 0.94 plus 0.06, which is just what 1, which is 1.00. You can use your calculator, you check it. The random number interval, you're creating an interval that must not reach up to the probability somehow. Now remember that probability ends at 0.5 in the first one, right? So which means you are creating an interval that will not reach 0.5. So it's 0.0 to 0.4. The next probability ends with 14. Right, so your interval must not reach up to it. Instead, remember that last one end at 0.4, so you start from the next one, which is 5, 0.5 to 13 do not reach 14. Remember, the next probability is 0.26, so which means the next one must still not reach 26, and remember the last one end at 13, so it becomes from 14 this time, 14 to 25. If you keep practicing it, you see that it's still the same method. The next one is 40, so which means that one must not reach, so it becomes what am I saying, it becomes for 26, which we stopped the last time, to 39, because it's not up to 40 like that. So when we are through and you get all of those, you are through with your random number table. Then the next thing becomes your simulation table. The simulation table, first of all, the days, since they gave it to us in the question that we have 15 random numbers, the days become 15. Then the random number table is also given to us in the question. If you check, you'll see where they give us random numbers. That is what we put there. Now, the production per day of this will be gotten by using each of, in the table. The production per day will be gotten by using the way we arranged it in the table. Now, you look at your interval. The first one says 202. The first random number says 82, right? I want to tell you how we get that production per day. The first number says 82. So if you check 82 in your random number interval, you'll see that it falls within 75 to 85. You're counting numbers on 5, 76, blah, blah. You count 82, 83, 84, and 85. So if you check it, you just go straight to the production. You see that it's 202. Then you write it. The next thing again, the next one is 89. So if you check, it falls under 86 to 93. And if you check the production per day, is 203. So you keep checking them with their interval. Then check the production per day of the interval. That's how you get this production per day in the simulation table. The number of weights is realistic. In the question, I say the lorry carries 200 moped. So if it comes and it says 200, so if you carry 200, how many is remaining? 2. That's what weighting means. How many is remaining? That 2 is still waiting. It comes the next day, it says 203. If you carry that 203, how many is remaining? Is that 3 plus that former 2, remaining 5 is still waiting. That is realistic. Even the part where you are seeing number 7, 198, it was remaining 6 before. If it carries 198 and it was remaining 6, it will have to carry 2 out of the ones remaining, which is why you are seeing 6 minus 2 there. So you just practice it, take your time, it's realistic. Number of empty spaces means if the part, whether the lorry was empty or it was filled up, any space that remained that it was not filled up. Like remember now, look at your 9. It says we had 196, right? And already we do not have, look at your 10, you have 198 and we do not have anyone remaining in waiting. So which means the lorry that can carry 200, if you carry 198 and no one was remaining, it means it's remaining 2 empty spaces that was not filled up. So that is how practical it is. And we cannot have waiting empty spaces. The next day, the space is filled up. It's only the load that can have waiting. So it's from all this that we can now calculate the average. And remember, average is you total everything and you divide by how many there are, which in this case is 15. This is what we are doing next. So these were the two things we asked. Average number of mopeds and empty spaces, which if we total and we add, and that is total by adding, and we divide each by 15, you can see the answers. So that is just the simulation. Is not really that hard. Bye.